You are listening to From Ring to Veil.
I'm Shannon.
And I'm Kim.
And we are your wedding planning gurus.
We take the stress out
and put the fun back into wedding planning. Alternatives to a sit-down dinner and more. Episode number 170.
This episode brought to you by Appy Couple, the most stylish way to share your wedding. You choose your design, then tell your story. Add and edit photos of your life together from the beginning.
Choose your tribe, your maids, and men. Lay out all the events and details to organize everyone easily.
When, where, childcare, weather, and how to get there.
Your guests can join in on the website and your very own app. From reading your stories to adding their own photos. And of course, you have veto power.
They can get all the event details to the ones that they are invited to. They can also start and join conversations. They can find links to your registries.
Available for Apple and Android devices. Go to fromringtoveil.com/appy. That's fromringtoveil.com/appy.
Hey, join our Facebook group, From Ring to Veil Wedding Planning Community on Facebook. Easy to find. Go to our Facebook page, From Ring to Veil. Find the group right there from the menu on the left side of the screen. Subscribe and share the show. We've had a few emails that say that they have subscribed, and they also have shared our show with their friends who are also getting married. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Also, we have some exciting things going on right now, like our wedding timelines and checklist. They're awesome. It's 20 plus pages of timelines, checklists, budget sheets, wedding tipping guides, everything you need to figure out for your wedding. It's in these timelines and checklist. Go to fromringtoveil.com/checklist, and it's all for just $2.99.
What options do you have when it comes to your reception food? What the heck is pipe and drape? And what is it used for?
Readings for your wedding. Why do you do them? Do you really need to do them? We're here to answer all these questions.
Let's start with food.
Always.
It's one of our favorites.
Always start with food.
This is actually in the middle of our list, but I'm just saying you could do a Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, especially if it's around Thanksgiving. Somebody was telling me the other day about when they were married. They were married on Thanksgiving weekend. So everybody was together for Thanksgiving, and they all got together and had Thanksgiving meal on the actual day. And then they all stayed around for the wedding on Thanksgiving weekend.
Wow.
So it worked out really well for them. And I was like, you know what? Shannon and I think that's a great idea.
Love me some stuffing. Love me some dressing.
There you
and mashed potatoes and gravy and some turkey.
Stuffing.
It's not stuffing. We do not stuff the bird.
Well, if you don't stuff the bird, it's not stuffing.
It's dressing.
It can be dressing. Anyway, let's get to the real stuff here. Alternatives to sit-down dinners. We've seen this question asked a few times. What else can you do to a sit-down dinner? Is like a plated dinner where you choose the chicken or fish, and then everything is brought to you while you're sitting down at the table, and here's your salad, and here's the chicken that you selected, and things like that. So that's what a sit-down dinner is. Let's talk about alternatives to that. Things you can do other than just sitting there.
If you're having lots of people, okay, and the space that you picked out doesn't have enough seating to put round tables, have a cocktail style reception. It's standing. You don't have to do a long reception. Cocktails usually last 1 to 2 hours. You could have seating around, but not like huge round 60-inch tables with 8 to 10 chairs.
Exactly.
Have, the high boy tables, and then have some, a couple of tables where people can sit down. But have drinks and hors d'oeuvres and, small finger foods, things like that. That's fine.
That is fine. It's absolutely acceptable. You don't have to supply your guests with a fancy 5-course meal. If you don't want to. You can give them little things just to snack on, especially if you're not planning on having a really long reception anyway. Secondly, you can do a family style. Now, this works really well if you're doing the farm tables in long sections. So you can put family style food, big bowls of stuff that people are going to share and eat out of right there. I think that is a really, really good way to go, especially if you don't want people having to serve every little thing or have a buffet style.
Buffets, yeah. Yeah, pot roast, mashed potatoes. That's a good family style dinner right there.
That is a good. That is. But you can also do things like quinoa salads and, stuff like that. Big, like especially summer salad. I love the family style. I think that's a great way to eat. If you ever go to like Buco de Beppo or some of these restaurants that serve family style, you can see what we're talking about.
Food trucks. They've been popular for a while now. So you have the food trucks there. You go and you pay the food trucks so the people don't have to pay for their food. Okay, let me get that out there. And they'll just go up and order what they want. The food truck will probably have 1 to 2 options, 1, 2, or 3 options, So you don't want to make it too extravagant. But
you can have more than one food truck.
Yeah, you can have a meal food truck.
Grilled cheese.
Yeah. A dessert food truck. A biscuit food truck. Hey.
Yeah.
An ice cream truck. Taco truck.
Pizza. There are a lot of options.
Queso truck. Hey. When we had the food truck guy on a couple of years ago, I told him about the queso truck, and I bet he went and took that and ran with it. And I didn't get any kickbacks for it.
Okay, Miss Queso. All right. Another option is the buffet option. You can have it all set out and let people serve themselves. If you are trying to be budget conscious, that might not be the best because people sometimes tend to take more than they actually eat. That's why people opt to go with a sit-down dinner. You get what you get and you eat that. So it's just totally up to you on the buffet style.
Food stations. App stations.
Kind of like a food court. You get to choose what you want. Do you want pizza or do you want grilled cheese? Keep bringing up grilled cheese. I don't know. I must be craving grilled cheese.
You're hungry for grilled cheese today?
Maybe. Or, just the different options that people can choose what they want.
Afternoon tea.
That would be so fun.
England, English tea time is around 4:00. And it's almost like a full meal.
Basically dinner.
Because they don't have dinner until 8 or 9 o'clock. So they have to have something between lunch and dinner. So they have afternoon.
And you could do a traditional tea, like have lots of tea and coffee, whatever. And then do small finger foods. Little goodies, little sandwiches, little, like we saw the shot glasses of soup. That kind of thing. Just little bits of food that they can have a snack with.
This is good for like an afternoon wedding and reception.
Especially if you're doing like an early morning ceremony. Not early morning. A mid-morning ceremony. And then not really hitting lunchtime. You're a little bit after or something.
Cheese and wine. Do cheese and wine pairings.
Exactly. Set up little areas. Well, here's the white wine and these are the best cheeses and crackers to eat with that. And then here's the red. And you can get really fancy with it. Here I live in what's called Little Napa, basically, Woodinville wine country. And there are tons of local wines that you could go to and purchase and have that set up for cheese and wine time.
You could do heavy hors d'oeuvres. That's almost like a meal.
It really is.
Because usually it has a beef option, a veggie option, a bread option, and then there's like petit fours and dessert options for, if you do a heavy hors d'oeuvre. Hors d'oeuvres.
And then there's the bars of all kinds. All kinds. All kinds. So you got an omelet bar. You got taco bars. You got burrito bars. You could have a nacho bar too, right?
Queso bar.
Baked potato bars.
Mm.
Popcorn bars are they're there. It might not fill people up enough.
It's not a food. It's not a dinner type option. That's more
Right.
of a snacky option.
But you could have that as well as one of the others.
Yeah. A brunch bar with pancakes, crepes.
Waffles.
Yeah.
I mean, the possibilities are endless with these bars.
Biscuits and gravy.
But I would say don't do an omelet and a taco bar. You know, make one your main.
Yeah.
And then whatever else you want to add with it. You could even do like a cheese and wine table too or something. Omelets and cheese and wine.
A fondue bar, which I don't think I'd want to have at a wedding.
Yeah, it's a little bit messy, but it is an option.
And it's, people aren't the most sanitary people in the world. And little kids like to stick fingers in things.
That's
and I
true.
Yeah. That just doesn't appeal to me. So let's go on.
What does appeal to you?
Barbecue, on the other hand, some real Texas barbecue, like brisket and ribs, not like pork barbecue, but beef.
Oh, now come on. Pork butt's pretty dang good. And shoulder. Yeah, I mean, depending on where you live, you could do Texas, you could do North Carolina, whatever. What's Kansas City? They have a barbecue.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do Washington style barbecue.
Please don't.
I'm sorry, Washington people. I just don't have.
They think a barbecue is hamburgers and hot dogs.
That's true. Which you could do hamburgers and hot dogs. But yeah, exactly.
That's grilling, not barbecue. Okay, just gonna get that out there.
Let's not get into that discussion. All right, picnic style. You can do picnic style, especially if you're having an outdoor wedding.
Yeah.
And maybe you're out at a beautiful park. You could definitely do picnic style.
Do box lunches.
Yeah.
From Jason's
Absolutely.
Deli. Hey, I like me some Jason's Deli.
I'm sure they have that kind of stuff other than Jason's Deli too, right?
I know. They do.
I don't know of any, though.
Jimmy John's does it too.
Oh, that's true. If you want. Anyway, let's brunch.
Brunch is my favorite thing. Where else can you get eggs, biscuits, and gravy and a salad or a burger at the same meal?
Mm-hmm. If you call it brunch, then you can put whatever you want. You can have an omelet bar and a popcorn bar. It's just totally up to you.
An omelet bar and chicken and dumplings and macaroni and cheese.
Why not?
There's this place in Georgetown that does a brunch buffet on the weekends. And they always have chicken and dumplings and macaroni and cheese.
That's kind of cool, though.
I know. So you go one time through and you'll get, your breakfast food.
Your breakfast, yeah.
And then you go through another time and get your lunchy food.
How fun.
Can you see we like food?
You could do a dessert bar instead of actual food. Be meat or whatever. You could just do desserts, especially if you're doing a shorter reception. Maybe you have to leave earlier because of your honeymoon plans or something like that.
If you're getting married in the church and you're having a small reception in the fellowship hall, a dessert reception's all you need.
Exactly. And then there's always potluck. If you want to take that risk and go with potluck. I would say if you're going to do potluck, I would make it a designed menu and you either ask each person to bring a certain thing or to sign up to bring a certain thing. That way it's more cohesive. Unless you just want the potluck, which is where the luck comes in and you just get what you get. There's a couple different ways to do potluck. So
you get 50,000 taco salads.
Or
macaroni and cheese.
Pasta salads.
Yeah.
Pasta salads. That's always a big one. So there are that's a great list right there of alternatives to sit down dinners. If you want to see the list and print it out and go through your options there, you can go to fromringtoveil.com/170 and see these show notes. It should also be right there in your podcasting app.
Now we're going to talk about pipe and drape. Do you know what pipe and drape is? Not a lot of people do.
It was a while before I understood what pipe and drape was, and I didn't really even understand it until we actually got into the wedding business.
So, when you go to a convention, you're going through the actual convention floor, or especially wedding shows. Let's do wedding shows.
Okay.
You're on the wedding show and you go to every other vendor, and they're separated by pipe and drape. That's basically what it is. There's pipes and there's drapes on those pipes. But for weddings, it could be very elegant.
Oh, yes.
And
it's
not
a really
ugly.
simple way to take care of business. Like to divide things, to decorate, to hide things. And I've seen so many pictures, which we will have a Pinterest page of this, of just beautiful stuff.
Right.
You think, pipe and drape, but man, they can get really pretty.
And if you're doing a wedding, say in a big, huge ballroom at a hotel, and you're using that one space for your ceremony and reception, pipe and drape is a great way to divide it.
You can create a total look with it.
Mm-hmm. It can be used for backdrops for head tables, sweetheart tables, or a photo booth.
You can also be used around the entire room to hide the walls. So we had a wedding, and it was in a creamery, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of a big blank room, and the walls weren't just especially beautiful, so they pipe and draped it, and right in the middle, they pipe and draped it all the way up to the ceiling and across. Mm-hmm. And it just made this really pretty space where the head table was and the dance floor. And they even used lighting with it. So you can use pipe and drape and lighting to create a vision, a look. And especially with the lighting, you can use the uplighting where it's just totally your colors, or it can change color. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that you can do with that. And it just transforms the room from something just kind of blah to something really pretty and elegant.
Yeah. You can also use them for arbors and huppahs. If you're having a Jewish wedding and you need a huppah, there's pipe and drape for that. Like we said, they can divide large rooms into smaller sections. If you're having like maybe an intimate lounge area and you need to separate that off, or a place where a quiet space where you can take a child and maybe, put them to sleep or whatever if you're having kids at their wedding. Just little things like that. It's an inexpensive way to divide a room.
As we said, the uplighting. I'm serious. Check out the Pinterest page. There'll be a link in the show notes and on the podcast app notes there to our Pinterest page. Check it out.
Yeah.
Because I think you're going to be surprised if you can't envision this in your head.
Yeah. You can DIY this because there's companies that'll send you the actual pipe and drapes that being shipped to you. But if you're doing a big space, I would recommend renting from a reputable company to have this done, because it is tedious and it is long. It is a lot of work. It takes hours. If you want a whole room tinted or pipe and draped, it takes hours to do. So I would rent it out. So if you want to transform a space, check out pipe and drape. It may help you visualize your space better and things like that. So don't forget to check out our Pinterest page. We'll have the link to it in the show notes. Do you want a fully customized wedding invitation suite? Well, we have a great place for you to go. It's called Minted. It has independent artists from around the world where you can get custom designs.
You can get a whole suite from save the dates to your thank you notes. And you can get free address printing. Just go to fromringtoveil.com/minted.
All right, let's move on to readings. What and why? What are readings? Why do you want them or need them, or maybe you don't?
Readings set the tone for the wedding. It brings wisdom, humor, and a sense of togetherness.
Okay, so let's just say readings are when you take some time in your ceremony to have somebody other than you or the officiant read something meaningful during your wedding. Maybe it's a little bit funny. Maybe it's a little bit sappy. Maybe it's something you both love or share, whatever it is. But it's just something that adds a little extra to your ceremony instead of the, I do, kiss, you're done, that kind of thing. maybe you're not doing unity candles or sand or whatever it is, and you just want some special readings kind of peppered throughout your ceremony. And you can do these whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a set time to do them.
Mm-hmm. So here are a few tips on how to choose readings that are meaningful to you. The first tip is to make it personal. Find something that is meaningful to both of you. Make the search romantic. Do you have a favorite poem or a line from a book or a movie that describes you and your significant other to a T? Include it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
A meaningful song lyric.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you guys, it's your song and you want to read it. Make sure that the readings fit the style and length of your ceremony. If you're having a short ceremony, you don't want to have a bunch of long readings. Maybe just some short and sweet, couple lines, just the chorus of a song or something like that.
A single reading shouldn't last longer than 5 minutes. That's a long time.
Yes.
We don't want a soliloquy. So just, I would say 2 minutes. And it says if you're having multiples, hold them to around 2 minutes each. That's still a long time for a reading.
It really is, especially now in this day and age with everybody's short attention span. Yeah. 2 minutes is even long.
Yeah. So, I would keep it 30 seconds. I'm kidding. But anyway.
Well, you could. It just depends.
You can also ask someone special to read it for you. You can ask your parents, your grandparents to do readings, get your maids or the G-men, the groomsmen, I call them G-men, involved. You have reading aged nieces or nephews. Get them to read a passage from your favorite children's book. Mine is from Winnie the Pooh. If you live to be 100, I want to live 100 minus 1 day, so I would never live a day without you. See, that's short and sweet and to the point. Velveteen Rabbit also has one that's very special that a lot of weddings that you can use in a wedding. So just check that out as well.
There's also biblical readings and couples who want to share their devotion to each other plus their faith. A lot of religious ceremonies will have this type of a reading, a biblical reading, verses that talk about love and marriage and relationships. Bible verses are a good way to show commitment, and there's some really, really sweet scriptures that can make you cry when it comes to this kind of a thing. So it just kind of shows your commitments and beliefs on a different level. It's not just the two of you, it's you and your faith also. And that's fine. You may not be having a huge religious wedding. You could still have scripture read in your ceremony.
Don't forget the Pinterest page where we have lots of choices for you, lots of examples of readings. Mm-hmm. And just remember, they don't need to be long, just meaningful.
Mm-hmm. Just meaningful. So that's just another element to your ceremony. Now we have a listener question. Woohoo!
How do we supply enough alcohol that people aren't outrageous, but that can still satisfy his family? I want everyone to be happy and have a good time, and I certainly don't want to neglect his side of the family and their traditions. I want his family to feel comfortable, but I also want my family to feel comfortable.
I just have to say, let's preface this. Well, I guess it's not preface now, but let's just say, so the question, there was a long explanation for this. There's two different religious families coming together. One is they don't drink, and one is they do drink. So she's having trouble trying to figure out how to make both sides happy without making the other side uncomfortable. These people, they celebrate, they drink, they have a fun time, and that's how they celebrate. The other family, they don't drink and they celebrate without alcohol. So this is a hard thing to figure out the exact right answer for. Right. But we want to try to help you kind of figure this out and maybe guide you a little bit to come to a good, reasonable answer for this.
And I will say, we have this on the bottom of the notes, but I want to say it first. Know your alcohol laws in the county or state that you live in or where you're getting married in. You might need a license to serve it. You might need a license to open the bottles.
Mm-hmm.
You might need liability insurance because if somebody gets wasted and they go out and they have an accident, they'll say where they got the alcohol from.
Yeah.
You're going to be implicated.
Be liable. Mm-hmm.
Right. And if it gets overwhelming, so I would consider hiring it out to a reputable bar service company to do this because they will have everything you need. They know the laws. Plus, they will know how to make the bar up that can serve your guests, have enough there for each, the persons at all. Or if you want to do it yourself, here's some tips. You can do a modified bar. Okay. This is not, you don't have to go out and buy a whole bunch of liquor, a whole bunch of wine, a whole bunch of beer. You do 3 to 5 basic or most popular choices: whiskey, vodka, gin, tequila, or rum. You don't have to get all of them. You can choose 3 of the 5. You know who's coming. You know what they like, or at least your significant other knows, his side of the family, what they like to drink. Choose 2 types of beer, and the wine usually do 1 white, 1 red, plus champagne for toasts. Or since your family doesn't drink, I would do sparkling apple juice or sparkling grape juice.
But also, you could do just the beer and wine if you wanted to, and not offer any of the spirits or actual hard alcohol, to keep it a little more, okay, they've got something to drink, but we're not trying to push any hard drinks on them. It really does make it simpler for you. A couple beers, couple wines, you're good. And like Shannon said, we suggest hiring somebody. Even if you go and talk to somebody about what you can conserve and what you need and what the laws are and things like that, that would just be so helpful. Right.
Because sometimes, depending on the laws, you can't open. You yourself or a guest cannot open that beer or wine. There has to be somebody behind that bar to do it.
That's right. Licensed.
And if that's so, I would just make it all that bar service company's idea to do. And then you talk to them about your needs. Like this side doesn't drink, this side does. Maybe you have a signature cocktail or a signature mocktail.
Yes. Or both.
Right.
This or that. I would also say, I know Shannon hates the cash bar. She thinks it's rude. But you're trying to keep it to where everybody's happy. You're never going to make everybody happy. But if you supply beer and alcohol or beer and wine, a certain amount, and these people, they want something else, they could purchase something else themselves. You know what I mean?
Or if you're in a hotel, if you're having your reception in a hotel, there's always a bar in the hotel.
That's right.
You can have beer and wine and champagne or whatever at your wedding, but if they want something stronger, they can go to that bar and get it and come back in.
But we also don't want to make the people who aren't drinking uncomfortable so that they leave.
Right.
So, again, you're not going to make everybody happy. It's a fine line to walk. This could be a full show, Shannon was saying. So, but we won't make it a whole show for you.
Because we really need a professional to come in here and explain it all. So that we did a show on bar service way back when we first started out. It's episode number 15. We'll have a link to it on the show notes, so you can check that out. We hope we answered your question. And if you have anything else to add or another question, please email us at info@fermingtonvale.com or find us on Facebook or Instagram, anywhere.
We are going to have a few more themed wedding shows. We're going to have another wedding venue show. And we have a lot of other things planned. So make sure you subscribe to the show so you don't miss any of these.
Don't forget to check out our timelines and checklist. For the low price of $2.99, we have over 20 pages of checklist, budget sheets, anything that you need to figure out for your wedding. And it's fermingtonvale.com/checklists.
Don't forget our Facebook group from Ring to Veil Wedding Planning Community. Join us there. You can like our Facebook page. We'd love for you to do that. And until next time, no stress, no worries. Keep calm and listen on.
Music provided by bensound.com.